mean, at first glance, it's a small set. Then you realize it's a big set. Alright, Avengers Infinity's out. It's out there, it's out in the world, and we're very close to rotation. This is going to be one of the sets that kind of defines where we see the world going. And we have to know specifically what in this set is really going to make an impact, and it's, you know, how we have to adapt to it in what way, shape, or form, right? The set itself, as a whole, it doesn't seem great, but there are parts that add to the whole of the game that exists right now. As an example, there's a number of Eternals in the set, including Thanos, including Star Fox, specifically the Chase one. They'll add to the Unimind's arsenal of WTF. As if he wasn't strong enough. Let's give him Flurry, guys. Also in a post-rotation world, we do have to be aware that the Unimind at 275 plus 3 things and the Thunderstrike is basically unkillable. I mean, it takes a lot of work to take care of something at that level, so you really have to put your work into it. Long and the short of it is that we're going into a competitive game that's changing, and this set is new, so it's a weird borderland we have to be aware of. Though there's a lot of talk on how Chase Moondragon might interact with the new Lockjaw. From what I'm hearing, she's acting very well. But that also means you have to get your hands on a Lockjaw. Now, in current state of the game, Lockjaw is darned near impossible to get. He was strictly given to winners of the second set of WKOs, and that means right now there's not that many in the world. But when you get into the convention season, specifically Nationals events like Origins or Canadian Nationals, there will be Battle Royals hanging around at the moment. That is going to drop his value, but it does mean you have to base yourself on where you're going. But I'm supposed to be talking about Avengers Infinity. Now, the recent ruling on Captain America, I mean, I don't know how you didn't see this coming, but whatever. It does mean that Captain America isn't giving you free attacks if you have Force Blast. They're never going to let that happen, guys. Come on. But that doesn't mean you should be sleeping on this Captain America. He is really good. The ability to make abilities like Smoke Cloud, like Force Blast, basically free. They're not free, but they're free, if you catch my meaning. Like, you got to take the action, but then you take the action token off the character. Very, very cool. And there's a lot, like, this is the Captain America realist?
Principled.
Thank you, Amber. Don't sleep on that guy. He's got some potential, and the ability to knock around your opponent can go a long way, especially with new knockback rules no longer protecting flyers, as they used to in the old set of rules. If you're new to the game and you are only familiar with this rule set, ignore everything I just said. You're just going to confuse yourself. There's people sleeping on the Unseen. Don't do that. Don't do that, because the Unseen is huge range, got Outwit to go with it, and we all know how strong Outwit is. He's got huge movement. He's very hard to get a hit on. He's basically impossible to outwit. So he's a good utility figure. He costs a lot of points, but he's a lot of utility that can go a long way. Probability control, Outwit, I believe those are the powers that he has. They're basically staples. Paying 65 points for one character with both, that's hard to kill. Not a bad idea, especially when you consider you could get both for about 65 points on characters that are very easy to kill in bare comparison. Even against Precision Strike, people will say, oh, Precision Strike will kill him. Well, not really. It just means he has Super Senses on what we usually expect Super Senses to work. It's a 5 or 6. So, don't sleep on the Unseen. And don't make him unseen to your own study. What else? I'm sorry, I have the set here. I'm trying to kind of get a bird's eye look at it, because I haven't done a lot of the offhand research. One thing to note is that ID cards are basically X-Men going into the new rotation, so there's nothing really adding to the ID card collection. Don't sleep on Cosmo either. Good dog. Good dog. But a lot of people are looking at the bigger stuff in the set, including the Giant Girl from the starter, the Giant Girl from the main set, the Wasp, all 3 of the same model, all very good figures. The Title Wasp at 50 points can make one of your characters the same size as another character. I bring this up because Surters are going to want to be attacking Unimind. But just once doesn't kill a Unimind, twice might. So Wasp there to change his size so that the Colossal Indifference doesn't trigger. Could go a long way, correct? Yeah, you got me. You see where I'm going with this. What else? Don't sleep on Jakar. He's neat, but don't count on him either because he's only really just full-blown, full-stopping characters. Kronos at 60 points, probability control with 9 range plus a reroll if you miss by 1. Think of how many times he said, "Oh man, I missed by 1." Even if Kronos is off the board and dead, he's still giving you a reroll on that. So I'd say don't sleep on that 60-point prob, and possibly 3 damage as well. Infinity is neat, 75 points. A lot of people are already kind of getting wishy-washy on her. She does have a 12 range. She has barrier. She has Outwit as well, and she also drops movement and range on your opponent and increases movement and range on your own team. Think of your running shot versus their running shot. Their running shot is -2 on its reach because it's -1 on their movement and then -1 on the range, whereas yours is +1. You gain +4 reach against your opponent, right? Now, it's not an active +4, it's +4 against. It is still just a +2 reach to yourself, but it is -2 reach to your opponent. It's a net gain of 4. Let's. I'm looking at Jaggerhearts. He's cool. I want him to be a part of the meta. We'll see how that goes from there. Colossal Retaliations aren't abundant, but they're there. So pick and choose as you feel. Pick and choose as you like. But Groot, of course, is the obvious answer. His ability to start with his tokens, gain more of his tokens. His tokens have Flurry and 3 damage, along with Sidestep Plasticity. They are strong little things. And they also have Shape Change, which means they could be a little bit harder to get your hands on. Long and short of it, Groot, if anybody's... A lot of people talking about him, don't be blind to him. He's really, really strong. He does have to hit to make the token, so he's not quite as effective, say, as the Carnage. Carnage doesn't even... You don't even have to make an attack in the first place, because if they make a shape change, he's still the original target. You still got to plot the token down. It's really cool. So, yeah. So, in a nutshell, Infinity has a couple pieces that add to an already existing game, make things that exist a little better. If I haven't said a figure, I don't necessarily discount it yet. A lot of people are going to say, what about Quasar? What about Adam Warlock? They're neat, but you're going to have to put some work into making them work. And I'm not going to say outright they're definitely good. They are good, but they don't necessarily have an answer that I can see yet, or they aren't really their own greatness offhand. So yeah, that's my take on Avengers Infinity and how it's going to affect the grander scale metagame. The chases are up there. The Colossals are going to do damage, and the new vehicles that give you the special terrain, such as the cars and the buggies, they have their own neat little effects, but they're not game-changing per se. But they are great for those players who didn't get out and get themselves the boxing ring box sets, because the little extra bit can go a long way. What do you think about what's happening in Avengers Infinity? Do you think there's more figures that I might have missed that are worth talking about? Let us know in the comments. But in the meantime, guys, get these figures on your teams, put them on the board, and get yourself ready for these national events coming up, because practice will help make your teams better.